Today we're going to show you everything you need to know for your first ride on the SWAGTRON Shuttle ZipBoard. Hi everyone, I'm Josh from SWAGTRON and I'm honored to be the one who gets to take you through your first ride. If you're looking at this thing and you're thinking, man, that looks scary, don't worry, the shuttleboard actually has many built-in safety features like the smart retracting assist wheel and a beginner mode that make learning how to ride this super easy, especially for beginners. If you've just received your ZipBoard and are following along, make sure you've watched our unboxing video that will show you how to set up the ZipBoard just right, and make sure to read over the whole manual as well. Or if you don't have a ZipBoard just yet and you want to see how easy this is to ride, stick around because this is the perfect video for you. Now before we get started, we're going to need a few things that didn't come in the box. You're going to need a helmet, all your pads, flat, even ground, and someone strong enough to support your whole weight. If you don't have anyone around to help, it's alright, just make sure you have a solid table that won't move around and can support your weight. Now, I know you're really excited to ride the ZipBoard, and I am too, but first things first. If you've never ridden a skateboard, snowboard, or surfboard in the past, we need to first determine whether you're goofy-footed or regular-footed. If you already know which one of these you are, feel free to skip ahead, but if not, stick around because we're going to show you how to find out. If you prefer to ride with your right foot in front, that means you are a goofy stance. If you prefer to ride with your left foot in front, that means you are a regular stance. Neither one of these is better than the other. It's just about what feels comfortable to you. A lot like being right or left-handed. If you're not sure which way you ride, there are a couple ways to tell. First, if you've ever slid on a slippery floor with your socks on, you probably had one foot in front of the other to stabilize yourself. And whichever foot you had in front will be your front foot, and whichever foot you had in back will be your back foot. The foot you had in front will go on the side with the built-in LED lights, while the foot you had in the back will go on the side with the self-retractable assist wheel. If you're having a difficult time telling which is which, just remember the board will naturally lean on its backside since this is where the battery is located. If you've never slid on a floor with your socks, close your eyes and imagine kicking a soccer ball. Which foot did you kick it with? If you kicked it with your right foot should go on the back, and your left foot should go on the front. But if you kicked the soccer ball with your left foot should go on the back, and your right foot should go on the front. But of course, if you start riding and it feels weird and unnatural, feel free to get off the board and switch up the stance. Like I said, there's no right way to ride the ZipBoard, it's all about what feels comfortable to you. We strongly recommend getting off the ZipBoard before switching up your stance, as riding backwards can be a bit confusing. So do not attempt riding backwards unless you feel extremely comfortable riding and getting off of the ZipBoard. So always make sure you have the headlights in the front and the assist wheel in the back whenever you're riding. Now that we know which way to ride the ZipBoard, and before we actually turn the ZipBoard on, let's take a closer look at the ZipBoard itself. It's a little difficult to see, but there are actually two buttons within the foot pads here, one in the front and one in the back. These are actually the sensors that tell the motors to turn on and to self-balance. So when you do get on the ZipBoard, it's very important to make sure your foot is properly placed over the triangular part of this foot pad. It's also important to make sure your foot is positioned in the middle of the board and not too far forward or too far back, as this might cause you to turn unexpectedly. To turn, you will want to tilt your front foot either towards your toes or towards your heels in the direction you want to turn, whether it's toe side or heel side. And your back foot should be doing the opposite motion. Say you want to turn towards your toe, make sure to lean on your front foot towards your toe and your back foot towards your heel. But if you want to move towards the heels, your front foot goes on the heel and your back foot goes on your toe. The more you tilt your feet, the more the board will turn. It's a little confusing, but with some practice, it's very easy to get down. Now, before I teach you how to actually get on the ZipBoard, what's more important is learning how to get off. So the quickest and easiest way to do this is by jumping off with both your feet at exactly the same time. You should definitely practice this before you get on the ZipBoard. Make sure to jump with equal pressure on both your feet and to jump backwards so you don't land back on the ZipBoard. The other way of getting off is by disengaging the front sensor, so the sensor with the LED lights. I prefer to do this by tilting my front foot like this, but I've seen people prefer to tilt their foot this way or that way, or I've even seen people shimmy their foot off to the side. Any way is okay as long as you come to a stop first and you make sure to keep pressure on your front foot until you hear that sound that the motors have disengaged. Now, if you plan on getting off this way, it's very important to make sure when you position your front foot on the board that it's positioned in a way where it's easy for you to tilt off, tilt back, tilt forward, or tilt to the side. Practice this on flat ground before attempting it on the board itself. Make sure to keep pressure on your front foot as you do this, as you will need to continue to balance the zip board. And once you're ready, slowly lean back and lift your foot up and off the board. Now that you've practiced how to dismount, and with your helmet, pads, flat level surface, and partner or table ready, we can start our first ride. First, make sure your zipboard is fully charged. And if you haven't already seen the unboxing video, make sure to check that out for tips on how to charge your zipboard properly. Then we're gonna need to turn it on and switch it to beginner mode. To turn it on, push the silver button on the side of the front foot pad. Then, to make sure it's in beginner mode, tilt the board on its side all the way and then push the silver button again. You will hear it say either switch to beginner mode or switch to normal mode. We want to make sure we're in beginner mode, so keep pressing the button until you hear switch to beginner mode. Switch to beginner mode. The beginner mode will limit you to about 3 miles per hour, while normal mode allows you to go the full speed of the zipboard, which is about 7 miles per hour. We strongly recommend for your first ride to make sure that it's in beginner mode. Now, set your zipboard on a flat, level surface next to either the person who's willing to help you or the table that you can lean on. And make sure there's nothing else around in the area that could either break or injure you. Now, making sure not to touch any of the sensors on the zipboard, we need to deploy the assist wheel. Tilt the zipboard on its nose, then reach underneath, grab the wheel, and pull it all the way back. If you're having trouble with it engaging, you might need to pull it back and let go a little bit quicker, like this. Now remember, the assist wheel is smart and self-retractable. So once you put your weight on it and then pull that weight off, it will retract itself. So remember not to rely on it once you've shifted your weight and the board self-balances. Now it's time to put your back foot on the zipboard. Make sure that your back foot is perfectly centered over the triangle and it's not too far forward or too far back. Now we need to put our front foot on. So remember, the assist wheel will self-retract. So once you've put your weight on the back foot, remember you have to leave it there until you're ready to balance. The front foot positioning is extremely important as well. Make sure to have your front foot properly positioned over the triangular part of the board and that it's not too far forward or too far back. We recommend putting as much weight as you can on the individual helping you or on the table that you're using to help. Now, slowly lean on your front foot until the board is even. Once the board is even, the self-balancing motors will activate. Now, before you go zipping off, make sure you can stand still and try turning with your toes and your heels as instructed earlier, and make sure you have a good grasp on how the board feels and reacts to your movements. Once you feel good standing in place and you understand how the board reacts to your movement, practice that dismount we talked about earlier. First by jumping off with 2 feet at the same time, and then by tilting your foot to get off. Congratulations on your first ride on the zipboard. If you needed your helper to catch you or you needed to use the table, don't worry. Just remember to keep on practicing until you feel comfortable before riding without anything supporting you. It's very important that you can stand still comfortably and dismount comfortably before trying to ride with any speed. If the board does not seem to stay in place with the feet leveled, make sure the board is properly calibrated. You can see how to do that in the zipboard unboxing video. Also, make sure you're riding it on a flat and, most importantly, level surface. If the surface you're riding on is slanted, the board might turn or accelerate unexpectedly. If you feel that it's too difficult to turn, leaning on your toes and your heels, or whenever you try to turn, the sensor seems to disengage, the springs might need to be broken in a little bit. So ask an adult to do the following. First, take the ZipBoard and find a nice soft chair, or take a chair and put a pillow on top of it. Now, place the chair between your legs and sit on the back end of the ZipBoard like so. Now, grab the front end of the ZipBoard and twist it side to side until the springs have loosened up a little bit. This should allow lighter riders to have an easier time turning the board. Of course, if it's still a little too tight, feel free to repeat the process until the rider feels comfortable turning. If the board seems to disengage randomly while you're riding, make sure your shoes are nice and flat. Also, it's really important to make sure your front foot covers that whole triangle area. And if your foot is too far towards the front end or the back end of the board, you might accidentally slip off of the sensor, causing the board to disengage even if you didn't mean to. But if you're not having any of those problems and you feel comfortable turning, go ahead and try at slow speeds to ride around and turn left and right. It's always important to never ride faster than you can run. And if you hear the board telling you you're going too fast, listen to it, as going faster than the board can keep up can be very dangerous. And again, we don't recommend riding this anywhere other than smooth, flat, level surfaces, and always wear your pads and your helmet. Most importantly, have fun riding your new ZipBoard, and don't be discouraged. Even if you fall or you have trouble learning the basics, keep at it. The more you ride it, the more fun you're gonna have. Thanks for watching, and I will see you out there. And of course, if this video helped you out, we would appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.